year just before Christmas. Nobody knew what he was going to say, and that was the real Punk. That was the thing. I wish more characters were real. That's what I don't like about the John Cenas and the other people, the people that are there that are representing the company, because they are totally, totally fake. Randy Orton is the biggest piece of shit in the wrestling business because he's just arrogant. He wants everything handed to him. And then he comes on TV and he portrays himself as this, oh, I'm so happy to be here. I respect you. I don't buy into that. I appreciate the kid. I'd rather Randy Orton come out and be who he is. If he's an asshole and a piece of shit, be a piece of shit on television. Don't portray yourself for somebody that you're not. And I'm sure you understand where I'm coming from with that, don't you?
Oh, yeah. But, okay, I'll give you the dirty facts, okay? If you were a snotty asshole in roller derby, didn't get along well with people, we made you a T-Bird.
I love it.
There's like 3 exceptions to that rule. Ralphie Valadares, of course, and Mikey Flanagan. But most of the people were snotty, felt they were above everybody else and that, and perfect. They didn't get in trouble. Me, retired bouncer, over-the-hill bodyguard, you know, stand-up comic and all that, and raging alcoholic at the time. Me, they made a villain. Why? Because if I get in a fight in a bar, it ain't going to make news. It's just going to help my image.
Yeah, I've heard your radio show. You're pretty to the point about a lot of stuff, too, and I appreciate that. You know, your show is one that Bob occasionally sends to me. So I really appreciate the diversity that you brought here. The fact that you didn't agree with me on the John Cena issue, that created diversity because it shows that while I may not appreciate what John Cena does, you appreciate it, and that's what creates diversity. That's why we have so many of the fans
like I said,
that don't like
him. I
That's
find him boring, too. He does make me laugh more than occasionally. He's gotten very good with that. He's gotten very good on the mic. And
nobody will ever be... The thing about that with the mic, nobody will ever be as funny on the microphone as what The Rock was. Even though we didn't see The Rock as much as what we probably would like to see The Rock, nobody will ever be able to be as funny on the microphone as The Rock. You have got to agree with me on that.
If he hadn't been so embarrassed by his first character, he never would have gotten that far. If he had come out as, you know, this beast, you know, like a Batista did or a Roman Reigns, although Reigns is getting better, he never would have gotten the sense of humor. He never would have gotten the fact that you can get over with humor. If he had come out as this indefeatable beast, second-generation monster, they didn't start pushing that second-generation stuff until after he dropped the Samoan headdress and all that.
Oh, yeah. Well, with The Rock, I mean, with what made him, I mean, when they finally just let him just come out and try and put something together, those things are what basically worked. I mean, when he, people would have still been calling him Rocky Maivia if he didn't refer to himself in the third person as The Rock. Smell what The Rock is cooking. The champ is here.
Well, and the thing is, up until he did the movie The Mummy, he was still a mid-carder, basically. He had some great fights with Austin, but basically he was in a mid-card category. When he did The Mummy, Vince let him run. When The Mummy was a success,
I always believed that when it came to a wrestler's career, the same thing can be said about people that fall into the category like Shawn Michaels. The second half of somebody's career, for somebody who claims that they're the greatest of all time, the second half of their career, when they come back from a major injury or they go into retirement and come out of it, that's what defines a wrestler's career. Out of all the years that I've been profiling this, and I've met so many wrestlers, documented over 1,000, the thing is, the second half of your career is what defines you for truly who you are. If Shawn Michaels never came back from that back injury and had those matches with The Undertaker and had those matches with Triple H and Randy Orton and what he did for those stars, the claim of him being the greatest of all time would have completely been defeated and been pointless for him to even claim. And the same thing for The Rock. If The Rock never came back when he did, those claims of being the greatest of all time, one of the best, maybe, but the greatest of all time, there's no way he would have gotten away with that.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, I was there in the 80s when all this stuff was really breaking, when Vince started buying up everybody. I was doing a show with AWA. We were ESPN Slams and Jams on Tuesday nights. We were the #1 rated show on ESPN. And it was an hour of IRDL roller derby and an hour of AWA wrestling. And when I was there, I mean, Hogan was still in the AWA. You know, and Heenan and Mr. Perfect, Ted DiBiase, they were all still in the AWA. That's how far back I go with them. I was doing commercials
AWA
for
was a great promotion. The days of the territories are over, and I really wish that these newer wrestling fans who love those John Cena characters and buy that John Cena merchandise, I really wish they could go back and experience the AWA and World Class Championship Wrestling for what it really was. Oh. Because that was what wrestling was really about. The territories, the purchasing of the territories, the elimination of the territories ruined it all. Because the fans that love John Cena, the fans that love John Cena, this is the point that I've made about John Cena and why I absolutely detest John Cena, and I'm sure you'll agree with me. I'm sure everybody out there who knew about World Class and knew about the AWA, the point is, if those territories were still here, people like John Cena would be irrelevant to the term of professional wrestling, because that is what it's about. You cannot tell me that the Ascension are going to come in on Monday and be the Legion of Doom, as much as they may resemble Animal and Hawk. It's a shame. Hawk's got to be rolling over in his grave. I interviewed the Legion of Doom, for Christ's sake.
I used to do commercials.
It's terrible. Exactly. You can't tell me that that's going to get over.
Yeah, I'm looking at that new group, Ascension. And, I mean, that was the first thing I saw. I was like, oh, great, Hawk and Animal ripoffs.
They would have been much better, and I noticed it too. The only way you could have gotten away with that is if you were able to get Precious Paul Ellering to just show up and be their manager for 6 months, and almost do a Legion of the Doom torch-like passing that way by having that. But you know, it's just. Again, it's just one of those things that WWE has to have it this way.
Now, the one thing of them I see making it is the tie-ins with God of War game, because the armor and makeup is very similar to Kratos.
Oh yeah, I hear you on that one.
I see that as a tie-in.
We talked about that earlier. Video games, we talked about that earlier. I mean, that's a huge spender. That and the iPhone this year for Christmas. Jesus.
Oh, well, both PlayStation and Network and Xbox Network have been going in and out all day from all the people hooking up brand new machines. They've been getting outages all day. It's trending on Facebook, the article.
Yeah, I heard about it because I had... it was there the other night. I was on the laptop and I was uploading some photos from Christmas, and my sister's boyfriend actually was actually trying to get on the PlayStation 4 network in the basement, and I heard him doing more swearing on that than absolutely possible. I asked him what was wrong, and he said the fucking PlayStation network is down. I told him, relax, and right. People are nuts over this.
This is one day a year I do not. This is the one day a year I do not turn on my PS3.
You know, like, it's terrible. Like he was there hitting the wall. He was throwing the controller down on the ground. His PlayStation controllers are decimated. This is a 30-year-old man who has a PlayStation system, a PlayStation 3, and the accessories are destroyed. The joysticks are chipped. The system is like so slow, it's unbelievable. It's almost convinced me that the system was smashed and put back together because of the loading time. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous.
I know.
How people...
I did Christmas at my sister's, and my two nephews are both screaming. One's on Xbox, one's on